One identity in an individual with dissociative identity disorder can be dramatic. As much as the difference between you and me, the identities have different IQs. They have different physical strengths. Their ability to hyper-focus and have different experiences is astounding. Have these individuals, through their suffering, unlocked the potential of the brain? Is this where our sense of the supernatural comes from?
What if a person with DID thought one of its personalities was supernatural? Would they have supernatural powers? I love taking real world things and asking a question of, is there a plausible way to believe in the unknown? An easy way to think about why I was interested in coming back to this world of Unbreakable was a really simple one. I was a young man when I wrote Unbreakable and was very masculine oriented, very kind of, guy oriented. And then I had kids. And then for a long while my kids were growing up, I was more interested in family oriented stuff because that's really where my headspace was. So I was telling younger stories and to a younger audience, to children, and my kids have grown up. It's just life, and so you live for other people a little bit more, and then you live back for yourself a little bit. And now when I'm thinking about myself, those things that I was writing about during the Unbreakable time are valid again.
I said tonight, what is the character's name? And he said,
I can't tell you that, just read the script. And he was like, what? He didn't understand what I was saying, because it was like, what am I supposed to point out every other character in the script?
Just read the script, it's pretty crazy, and you've got to stick with it.
I think he just thought it was so messed up and so whacked that it was crazy, and he's so up for anything.
And I got through the first 10 pages and I was like, what is this? And then the next 10 pages, it was a different, what is that? I think that's the joy of what Knight does so well, is that he keeps an audience on their toes, trying to figure out what kind of film are we watching? Are we watching a thriller? Are we watching a supernatural? Are we watching a horror movie? What are we watching?
I think I'll put a pretty flower in your hair.
Well, I had to work hard to get the script. Originally, they wanted me to sign on without having read it. I was like, please let me read the script. And I read it on the plane ride, pretty much coming to Philadelphia.
Everything about the script was top secret. I was texting Haley, tell me what happens, and she was saying, no, I can't. I want you to be surprised yourself.
Once I got the script, it was way more screwed up and creepy than I could have ever imagined. It was great to read because I had no clue what to expect.
Haley.
You're just left on a cliffhanger at the end of each page, just wanting to know what's going to be the outcome of all of this. Where's this going to go? And it goes in ways you would never expect.
The only chance we have is if all three of us go crazy on this guy.
Claire is really the leader of the group that's saying things like, we need to fight him, we need to escape, we can do this, we can all get together and get out of here, like this isn't the end. Marcia kind of looks to her as that leader in this really like screwed up time.
I was shocked and amazed, and I loved my character, and I could find a way into her, and I could understand the way that she was feeling about things, and I could also really relate to how she was so much of an outsider and how she just didn't fit into the situation.
Dr. Fletcher is a very one-pointed person. She's very committed to her work with her patients.
Well, can we sit down and talk?
I'm in a real hurry.
I feel it's important that we talk, and I make sure that you are okay.
She has dedicated her whole life to that work. She has some very cutting-edge perspectives about who her patients really are, and that they really are at the edge of the evolution of mankind in so many ways. Who are you?
The ambiance on set is marvelous. It's just so family oriented, and even if things are going wrong, everyone's pretty relaxed. Someone get her off me!
We make jokes and stuff. I do a lot of eating a lot of fruit snacks and yummy wraps that the beautiful crafty ladies make us, which takes our mind off the terrible stuff we're going through as our characters.
You know, you come into work and you're not thinking, oh, this is this good scene where we're smiling and happy. It's like, okay, and we're back in that mode. We're back in the mode of like all of us like crying and shivering. And for me anyway, I have to laugh and I have to have fun. You know, I'm on a set with all of these amazing people. I want to get to know them. So in between, I have to sort of let go and laugh.
I've had a really good time with Anya Taylor-Joy and Jess Sula. Haley Lou's just been a right laugh. And Betty Buckley as well, just an incredible bunch of women, which I was slightly scared of coming in, because it's like I'm going to be properly outnumbered, you know? And they've been really gentle with me, really sort of. They've really been sensitive to the fact that I am the lone male.
The visual look of this film, I've really been incredibly excited about. It is, in my opinion, his most cinematic movie.
It feels very like a French film in a lot of ways. There's a style to it. The way they're lighting the movie and the way they're shooting this is very, very artistic and beautiful. And it's, I think, an unusual combination for a film that's meant to scare the bejesus out of you, too.
It's stylized in a very subtle way. Very natural, but mysterious and moody. And I love it, because you know, you see just enough, but there's also enough in the shadows that you want to see more.
Split was always inspired by independent cinema, but like, for example, when you look at the people that I hired, I saw the movie It Follows, and I thought that I just loved the way it was shot, so I got that cinematographer, this young guy who barely had shot anything. He shot It Follows, and that was it, and I was like, hey, do you want to shoot my movie? I mean, I didn't know if it would work out, but it did. It really, really did. Also, it didn't hurt when he was in the interview and he's like, Unbreakable is one of my favorite movies. I'm like, you're hired. And then Mara, who did the production design for us, I saw True Detective, which really affected me. I was like, who did that? Let me get that person. So Mara came on and she did the production design and it was wonderful.
What's amazing about Night is, I mean, he has the whole movie in his head. It's probably the most succinct design process that I've had, because there's so much thought behind everything that there really isn't any guesswork that needs to happen. You think when you get down into the windowless room for the first time that this is a basement or something else, and that's the world. But then the reality of it is that we keep kind of peeling out and opening up that subterranean space, and it's a completely different story. And even beyond that, we have the multiple personality impact of the character that we have to kind of dress into the set, but also not reveal right away. So there's a lot of nuance and subtlety that we really tried to address in all of the set dressing, and it's been really fun actually having the crew come to set, because once they're trapped in a space for an hour trying to light something, they look around, they're like, oh, I get it, this is part of this world. And that's the greatest reward, I think, for me, is when people, you know, kind of catch these little things that we work so hard to thread throughout. Because we're making a film in Philadelphia, and because he's so loyal and such an amazing citizen of the city, there's also a lot of opportunities that present themselves that I don't think a film this size that was just coming in without its connections to the city, that we wouldn't have access to. So in some ways, the production value is actually much higher. We have some really big moments. I don't think we would have gotten them without Night's persuasion.
I think that's really cool that Knight uses the resources he has to make the movie that he wants to make.
I think he's really brave, bold, and I think he's really clever. He's bucking the trend that says, in order to tell an audience that you've got a good story, you have to spend 200 million on it. I don't think budget is really a signifier of quality, but just a symbol of how many cranes or how many lights or how many big actors are in it. Doesn't mean it's a good story. And I think what he's doing is clearing away all the interference, and he's getting back to proper good storytelling. I am James McAvoy, and I play Dennis, and Barry, and Patricia.
Don't worry.
And Hedwig.
My name's Hedwig. I have red socks.
And Orwell.
Muhammad, of course. Conquest between 1192 and 1200.
And Jade.
Wait, no, don't do that. Don't do that. He can't handle reality.
All the characters in this movie are challenging in themselves, but having to play all of those characters, sometimes in the same shot, has been the biggest challenge. Not just playing them individually, which is a challenge sort of in itself, but also an audience will buy you as one character, hopefully, and then you've got to go, forget that, now buy me as this next person. And to make that transition interesting and to make that part of the fun of the movie, but not make that alienate the audience, that's my job. I'm trying to be good.
Spielberg said 90% of directing is casting, and I remember reading that in film school, and I'm like, what does he mean by that? And, you know, this is what he means by that. James McAvoy is what he means by that. When I wrote it, I was thinking there's not many human beings that could play this, because if someone could do 2 of the roles, they couldn't do the other 2 roles. The physicality would throw them off. It has to be someone who could play the beast and a child.
Oh, that's here. What?
Shooting a movie about a split personality is fascinating because even though it's one actor, it's really multiple characters. And that's the way everyone has approached this, because he really transforms himself when he's playing different roles. James is fearless.
You like it?
And I think that's why he's the perfect actor to play this role, because he can just jump into each character without overthinking it. And I think that's why Knight and him have had such a great rapport on set, because the characters that Knight's created, James sees immediately and he's diving in head first.
When you watch him, you really believe that his individual personalities are different people. And it's really because he's a great actor that you're able to do that. And if you weren't able to do that when you watch the movie really wouldn't work.
He's not allowed to touch you. He knows that.
He really is a performer that wants you to do your best as well. And it's a pleasure to work with him. And also, like, having him this close, just an acting masterclass.
I think he's one of the best actors in the business, and I've been his fan for years and years and years, and he and I have this wonderful chemistry that's quite immediate, and it's very effortless.
James is, first of all, a really cool guy. He doesn't act like he's cool. He acts like he's a complete nerd, which is great. We've had a lot of fun with him. But he's also like a very good actor, and he's like really bringing it to the top notch that it could possibly be.
If you put a different person or a slightly wrong person, a brilliant actor but not quite right, we're gonna have a problem, because I'm gonna be pushing you past your comfort zone where I have you off kilter, and now we're both facing the unspoken tacit reality that you weren't the right person for this. And this was the opposite.
My process was the usual thing, really. You just had to do it 9 times rather than 1 time. And then voice and mannerisms, half of it comes through instinct, and then half of it's by design.
And even just finding within James, who luckily he's brilliant at accents. So basically I was rifling through his encyclopedia of his accents, and so when I'd throw out something, I was like, how about Hedwig has a lisp? He loved it, and I was like, bingo, we got the kid.
My name's Hedwig. I have red socks.
So when I would say to James, there's a fine line when you're playing Hedwig that you're not playing a dumb adult. That's not what you're playing. That's how most people play a child when they're playing as an adult. You're playing a very smart child who doesn't have life experience.
Can I kiss you? I wanted to kiss the other girl with the dark hair, but she's in trouble.
The movie is, I mean, essentially a fantasy.
Who are you?
I wanted to take something scientific and psychologically proven and keep going with it, keep going. First 2, 3 steps have been proven, and the next one was not proven, but it's a question. If you get stressed and your blood pressure goes up, you believe that. Do you believe I give you a pill and it's full of sugar, but I told you it's a cure, and a portion of the population cures themselves of all diseases? Do you believe that? It's true, that's a fact. It's in every scientific study everywhere, and every medicine is pit against the placebo effect. Now I'm gonna introduce you to DID, where each individual personality believes they are who they are 100%. One personality has diabetes, one has high cholesterol, one can't see, and their body changes chemically as they get to that belief system. Now I'm gonna ask one more question, and that's the one no one's asked, which I'm asking, which is, what if a person with DID thought one of its personalities was supernatural? Would they have supernatural powers? many ways to get to authenticity. One of the ways is ad-libbing, right? Because you ad-lib until you're being honest, and it comes out, you know, in a raw kind of way. What I'm trying to do is to get to that place, but from a belief that the screenplay that I wrote has the information like a play. It's in there. If you trust me as the writer, it's there.
He likes to kind of go away for a week or two or a month or two, work, and then share the work and we talk about it.
Clearly, from writing and nursing this baby of a script, he knows what he wants.
He knows exactly what he wants.
Because he knows exactly what he wants, he's able to apply that to the kind of economics of the film and still be able to execute his vision within a number.
You know with Night if you're getting it or not, and if he's happy or not. Because when he's happy, he's ecstatic and he's like a little kid.
That was a good one.
And when he doesn't feel like he's getting literally 100%, even if he's got 99% of it, perfect and beyond all expectations, he'll still be like, yeah, no, it was great. Yeah, it was really good.
With James and myself, it was one of those rare, wonderful things where your lead actor just gave in the most complex role I've ever written. He just gave in to the point, like, I'd go home and I'd call him and I'd say, we didn't get it today. We're gonna come back and get this. I don't even need to look at the daily, we didn't get it, and he goes, I know. And then, you know, fear goes away, and then kind of desire to find him or her comes up, and then we go back and we get it the next day.
I don't have to worry about whether I'm doing a good job or not, because if I'm not doing a good job, he's going to tell me. It takes a lot of weight off my shoulders because he's seeing it. So I can feel a certain way about the character and I can feel a certain way about a choice, but then he can see it in the wide lens of the movie and tell me if it works or not.
He, you know, conceived the project, he wrote the script, he knows how he needs to tell the story, and then it's up to you as his actor to give him that. I love working with him, and so it simplifies what can be overcomplicated in my process.
When he sees something and he's excited by it, sometimes we adapt. But for us, it's so exciting to have someone that, you know, sees something and wants to make it even better. And it might mean a little bit more work on our end, but it really is just so rewarding.
I think there's a purity to him that he had early on in his career that he has found again. He's really gone back just to the love of filmmaking and storytelling, and he's really just focused on the characters. And, you know, he's doing what I think he does best, which is telling really personal, contained stories. I think everyone goes through their own path, but sometimes you have to kind of find your voice again after going through different directions in your careers. And I feel like he's done that.
Night is pretty much the hardest working person that I've ever encountered in Hollywood. He does not only above and beyond what might be expected of him, even as a writer and director, but he is the one who's really bringing the ideas to the table.
That sort of pursuit of the vision that he has in his mind is quite inspiring, where you really, really want to please him, because he's got great ideas and he comes up with great stuff on the page, and he's got such a great, strong image in his head of what this film should be like, sound like, feel like, and look like. And so you want to be able to help him give that to an audience, you know?
And action.